All right, thanks, Logan. So I'm Emma. I'm a graduate assistant in the library, although not physically now because we're still living in 2020 land, of course. But me and Logan and Brad today are gonna talk about kind of the different citation managers that we're familiar with. And right now I'm gonna go over a little bit of kind of what a citation manager is, kind of overall, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of a demo for EndNote, and then I'll turn it over to my colleagues here. So that's kind of how this is gonna go today. Brad, if you'll hit the next slide. So basically, the citation managers are all going to roughly be doing a lot of the same things, just kind of in different ways and a little bit better for different disciplines. So basically, they're all going to be used to compile all of your sources in one place. So this is a really good tool to use if you're working on like a thesis or a dissertation or a really large project and you're needing to have all of your things in one place. So they all do that. They all give you an ability to kind of annotate and create notes on all your different resources. You can kind of access them through all different places, through on your laptop, on your iPad, on your desktop, etc. You can share your resources if you're working on, say, a group project, for instance. You can work them into your paper on Word. It'll format references for you, which I think is the coolest part, into in-text citations and your bibliographies. So kind of overall, a citation manager is a really great tool to have in general, just working on these larger projects. So you can kind of keep all of your stuff in one place and not worry about going and finding it on the web page you originally found it on. So next page. So basically, like I said, I'm going to cover EndNote today, and then Logan will cover Mendeley, and Brad will cover Zotero. And like I said, they're all pretty similar, but they all kind of do the same thing in different ways. And it kind of all comes down to what works best for you, what you're using it for, and like kind of what just is best for your specific needs. Next slide. So like I said, I'm going to go over EndNote. So next slide, Brad. So basically, a lot of things changed in 2020, as we know, and one of those things, unfortunately, was Mizzou's EndNote subscription changed. So we used to have the full EndNote, like new version, available for free to our students. And now, unfortunately, we don't carry that. However, they do have the EndNote Basic version, which is just through their website, which I'll run through today, and has a lot of the same features that the Big Kahuna regular EndNote has that you can download onto your laptop. So while I'm going to go through that version today, I have worked with the desktop version, and so at the end of my set of slides is my email if any of you want to set up like another consultation with me or another librarian, and we can go over like the bigger version for you. But today I'm just kind of going to go over the kind of the basic stuff that both the web version and the desktop version have, and kind of just show you how to do that. So next slide. So before I go into it, I just want to say kind of why would you, for instance, choose EndNote over Mendeley or Zotero? And this, I think the big thing for EndNote is really, it's really good for the STEM disciplines because it has an extensive list of journals and their abbreviations within the software. So that's really helpful for searching, for adding, et cetera, all of those things. Excuse me. It has the most format types of all the citation managers, 55. So you can, it has in the system, you can input a journal, an interview, a manuscript, and it has that kind of in there already for you. So you don't have to make a completely new source in there, which is really nice. You can search for these things within EndNote. So you can search PubMed in the database, find an article you like, and add it all in the same thing without even having to going like out of the manager itself. And like the other two I said, it also has an ability to share sources, citations and sources with your colleagues if you're working on a group project together, etc. So it has that really cool resource as well. So next slide. So like I said, the web version and the full EndNote version are going to be a little bit different. So like I said, the basic version is going to be free. The regular version does cost $60, unfortunately. And so that's kind of the major drawback of that right now. So like I said, it kind of has more unlimited features that the normal version, like that I'm going to go over on the web, doesn't have. Although it does have the full library sharing, you can add attachments. It has a lot. You can have 50,000 references in the free one. So again, it's not necessarily going to be to the level of the big full version, but it does have a lot of other great resources too. Next slide. So like I said, it can also, you can do your favorite styles. You can have group references. It still works with Word. Next slide. Again, it has the 55 format types on the regular version and the full version. There are different reference fields, reference types. So even if you're wanting to just use the EndNote Web and not fork out the $60, I think this is still a really great resource to use. Next slide. So again, there's my email and stuff if you want to set up a full session. But right now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and kind of do a little bit of a short little demo for EndNote Web for you guys. So I'll go ahead and pull that up. Give me 1 second. Share my screen. Can everybody see my screen? Yep. Okay. 1 second. Okay. So for this, I just typed in EndNote and it brought me to the EndNote web version. And you'll see here, I've already used the regular download for the fancy EndNote on my desktop. So I'm just using my Gmail in here. So I'm just going to sign in. You can use your MU email. You can use any. So I'm just using this one right now. So I'm going to sign in. And it'll take forever because my internet. So this is kind of what it'll look like when you log in. You'll see at the top here that since I already have references, obviously it looks a little bit different because I have them right here. But you'll see up here my references. You'll see here, like I mentioned, you can search within this citation manager, which is really nice. And I'll go over that in a second. You can organize them. Like I said, you can create groups. Say if you're doing a couple different projects, you can sort your citations by group so you don't get them confused as well. And like I said, you can also share those sources with your classmates. As I said, the bibliography, etc. It has all of these different tools for you. So right here, it'll have some of the references I've already put in here. So for instance, let's look at this one. This one will have, if I just click on this, it'll show all of the metadata for here. So it'll say the reference type is a journal. It'll have all the author, the title, the year, the abstract, and this one has my PDF attached to it. So this is kind of what it'll look like when you have a resource in here. So if I go back, oh, sorry, as it loads again. Okay, so like I said, you can add them to a group. So you can see over here that I already have a coronavirus folder. I have a ghost stories folder. So see if I hit this one. If you just click on the side here, you can see you can just add it to a group up here. There you go. As far as getting one through the database and then adding it, I can go over that really quick. It's just collect, and then you'll want to do online search. And then here, like I mentioned, you can search, there's PubMed, there's Library of Medicine. For this, I'll just go through Library of Congress, my personal fave. And what I like about this is I'm just searching within the manager, so I don't have to go out or go to Google or go to Google Scholar or something like that. So here, I'll do, what do I want to search? Vaccines are on my mind, so I'll search vaccines. And it'll take a second, of course. And it'll pull up all these different ones. So let's see which one looks. I like, here we go. The H1N1 influenza vaccination campaign. So I'll just click this check mark over here. I'll go ahead and add this to a new group, vaccines. Okay. So I went ahead and added that to my citations, and you'll see here that it's been copied with this little check mark right here. So then I'll go over here. Come on. Oh, my apologies. It's freaking out. Let me try that again. Sorry, guys. Internet is always And slower and slower. Sorry guys, my internet is proving to be unpredictable today. Okay, let's see if it pops up over here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so once I see I've added this to my references, you'll see it there. But you'll see the rest of these little paper clips are blue. So that means that a PDF has been attached to the resource, and you'll see, oh, we did add twice. You'll see neither of these have a paperclip on them, meaning it's just the resource's metadata and not the URL, or sorry, not the PDF. And of course, if I'm doing my research, I want to have that all in one place. So I'll go ahead and go to this URL and go ahead and try and download this source. So this one's pretty easy. This is the PDF version. Let's hit that. I'll go ahead and download this. I'll call it H1N1. There we go. Oh. Sorry guys, I'm trying to go back. There we go. Okay, so now that I've saved that, I can go back to this resource right here. I'll click on this. It says no files attached, like I said. I'll go ahead and attach this file. There we go, H1N1 vaccine. Upload. Woo! And now I have that added. There we go. So now, and like I said, it'll pop up and I'll have that blue paperclip. So now all of that's in one place. So I'm organized. I have my different groups over here, like I said. I'll go ahead and go through real quick. We'll see how to share these. Manage my groups. And we'll see vaccines. What if I want to share this with one of my friends? So I'll just go here, start sharing. For this, I'll just go ahead and use my school email, and so I can show you guys how to do that. All I'm going to have to do is type that in there. And for this, I want to let myself read and write on it, so I'll just go ahead and hit apply. And there we go. Now it was added, so now I can go ahead and look at it. So I kind of showed you what you guys what it looks like, kind of how to add a resource within there, how to add a PDF. So, is there any questions? As my I'll go ahead and stop sharing. Oh, I see a chat here. Okay. That's kind of all I had for EndNote. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Unmute yourself, put it in the chat, or again at the end after we've heard about all of them. If you want to ask, go ahead and do that too. So I'll turn it over to Logan, and they can talk about Mendeley.
Hello, my name is Logan, and as Emma mentioned, I'll be talking about Mendeley today. Oh, and my cat is here. He's upset. I'm not paying attention to him. One of the big things I want to mention before I start talking about Mendeley is that it's going through kind of a major change right now. So I'll talk about some features that are going away or that are starting to be worked on. And so some of the things that we'll talk about today are in beta, and that's just something to remember, is that not everything will work perfectly yet, but they're consistently updating and improving the product. Next slide, Brian. So some of the key features about Mendeley, you can access it either from your desktop or the web. And one of the things that I really like about some of the changes they're making is that whether you're using the desktop app or you're looking at your citations online, the interface will look exactly the same. So if you are generally using the desktop, but you have to use the web version for something, you'll already know where everything's at because it'll look literally exactly the same. So I think that's kind of cool. The mobile app is being retired, so you could still search and find the old mobile app, but it's being retired because they've realized that people weren't using it as much. They've done a lot of surveys and just kind of customer feedback recently on what people want out of Mendeley and what they think is most valuable for Mendeley. And they realized that people weren't really finding value in the app. So they're shifting and focusing their time more on the reference manager that we're going to look at. You can annotate your PDFs directly within Mendeley. It's what I use Mendeley mostly for. So yes, citation managers, you can, cite stuff in Word and export your bibliography and extra citations, but I don't particularly do that very much. I really, really like, though, being able to annotate my PDFs, highlights, like sticky notes. I can make notes as a whole from, or from a specific article, and I think that's really cool. And again, we'll walk through all this whenever I'm walking through a demo of Mendeley. So you can easily utilize citations within Word. So again, you can open Word and you'll see if you have installed the Word plugin, which is really simple, and I'll show you how to do that. You can insert your citations where you need to, and at the end you can generate a bibliography, and it'll include all of the citations that has been cited throughout the article or paper that you're working on. You can create and join private groups to share citations. Right now, private groups are limited to 3 people max, including yourself, but the coolest thing is that you can share full PDFs. So if you're working on a paper or a project with someone and you both want to make notes on the same paper rather than having separate notes that you then need to try to figure out how to combine, you can do the all-in-one PDF. And Web Importer is the final thing that I think is kind of cool about Mendeley. Similar to Zotero, which we'll hear about later, there is an add-on for browsers that will easily let you add in citations and sometimes PDFs. As I mentioned, things are in beta right now, so it is kind of hit or miss, but it does work decently well and it's continuously being improved. If we want to move on to the next slide. So storage and pricing. I listed out some pricing here, but really all that is important is that the basic plan, you can use any email. It's not affiliated with you being a student, faculty, staff member. So if you leave, this school, you'll still be able to access your account. 2 gigabytes free. For reference, I'm sitting at 169 megabyte use out of 2 gigabytes. And I put in almost every citation I have has a PDF attached. And I have a lot of citations because I use Mendeley all the time. So I don't think you'll have to worry about upgrading anytime soon. Next slide. Private groups. So as I mentioned, they're free. You can create 1 private group. They're limited to 3 people. The storage space is only 100 megabytes, so you can't be, permanently storing a whole ton of stuff in there. But it might be useful to, store stuff in there for one project you're working on, and then say you want to use, that group's gone, or you want to use it for something else. You can always export that and then empty it out and then put in different stuff. So it's kind of there's ways to work around, I guess, just the 100 megabytes. And the biggest thing about why it's only limited to 1 per person and a max of 3 group members is because you can share those full text PDFs. Mendeley is owned by Elsevier, so as a as a company that cares about certain things, they don't really want PDF sharing to be too easy for you. Next slide. So the demo, I'm going to try to go in a logical order, but I just get excited about using Mendeley, and I have skipped around in the past, so I'll try to keep it as smooth and in line as possible. So I'm going to show you how to download Mendeley, where you can potentially download some of the add-on tools, how to import citations into Mendeley. There's a couple different ways, and they're all pretty simple. Some basics of what the downloaded version looks like. We won't be showing the web because it is exactly the same, but you'll see, kind of the general setup, how to annotate and search your PDFs, and then finally, just some simple exporting citations, both in terms of your whole citations to put them somewhere else, as well as how to use that within Word. So I'm going to share my screen. And if you have any questions at all at any point, feel free to send them in the chat. If I can figure out how to actually show chat. Okay, so feel free to send them in the chat. I'll try to stop and check what you're saying. I have gone too fast in the past, so I'll try to, keep it slow. So the first thing is how to download Mendeley. I always start by just Googling Mendeley. I'm kind of bad at spelling, and I'm also always worried about accidentally going to a fake site, so I just Google it. You can also type in mendeley.com. As you can see here, there's a couple different ones. So there's Free Reference Manager and Citation Generator. There's Reference Manager. There's Mendeley Desktop. And what we're going to be using is the Reference Manager. So you can either click the second link, or if you are on pretty much any link you click on, you can get to the right thing. So whenever you go to Mendeley, you'll see this top bar that has some stuff. If you don't already have an account, now would be a good time to create one. Now being when you're on the Mendeley website. It's simple, it's free, and you can use whichever email you want. What we're most important looking at is the Mendeley Reference Manager. Mendeley Desktop is the old version. You could use that if you really wanted to, but the layout is slightly different and it's not being supported anymore. So when you go to the website, make sure you are looking at the Reference Manager. You can hit download now and then run the installer. You can also, while you're here, download the Mendeley site tool. This will take you to a Microsoft page. It has poor ratings, I will admit that. It works for me, but it doesn't work for everyone. So that is something that you should keep in mind, is that it's free, but it hasn't been working the best for everyone so far. And it's okay if it's not for you. And if you try it and you don't like it, it's pretty simple to export your library and import it to a different reference manager. So here you can get that, and then you can also grab the web importer while you're here. That works for Firefox or Chrome, and perhaps maybe whatever Internet Explorer is called now. I'm not super sure about that. So once you download it, and I closed out of it, this is what it will look like. So I have a lot of references here. It defaults to all of your references. I have 656 references. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of them have PDFs, and I'm still not hitting anywhere near the cap. So again, I really don't think you should pay money for added storage unless you like direly need it. So a couple things. So up here on the very top bar, it's kind of gray, there'll be a file, export all. This is where if you decide that it's not working for you, but you don't want to lose, all of your citations, and you don't want to have trouble importing them somewhere else, you can pretty easily export it to, EndNote if you want, or the RIS is pretty compatible with any citation manager. Edit copy, cut, paste, that kind of thing. Tools. So if you download it and you don't go ahead and download Mendeley Web Importer and Mendeley Site for Word while you're on the website, here's a really easy place to, just download the reference manager, open it up, and then under tools, you'll see links to download those tools. And then help, give feedback. Again, they are constantly seeking feedback. It is, and it's a work in progress for them. So don't be afraid to give feedback on what is or isn't working. This is the general manager. Over here, you'll see different categories. So this is, all references, stuff that you recently added, stuff that you recently read. So if you opened a PDF and you can't remember, which one it was, you have no idea, but you know that you've opened it recently, this is a nice place to check. You can also favorite things. I favorited a couple things from things I was working on. You can create collections. So I was working on a paper for my action research class. And so I have a collection that's just the papers that I know I'm going to be citing in that project. There are a couple ones. So say I downloaded a bunch of things for a white paper I was working on for class, but I didn't know if I wanted all of them. So I created a subfolder underneath that where I could drag in, these are things I know that I probably won't be using. I still want to keep them separated just in case I can go back to them or I want to go back to them. Correct, collections are similar to groups in EndNote. They're pretty much the same thing. So with collections, you can have, sub-collections underneath and as many as you want, I believe, and you can have as many collections as you want. If you want to create a new one, you can just click new collection, title it whatever, and it'll create that folder for you. Groups. As I mentioned, you can have groups for up to 3 people. You can see down here that I have a public group listed because I am technically part of a public group, but public groups are being retired as well because Mendeley decided that based on user feedback, they weren't being as used or as useful for what researchers really cared about. So Friday 2 at Ellis, it is just a random name that one of my coworkers made, and this is a shared group that we use specifically for this workshop. You can see that I have one flagged for reference. So that's kind of the same thing as favoriting, only in groups. And if we look over here, we'll see that file, yes, all the files downloaded. This little icon that's kind of small to see, I don't think I can zoom in. It's like a paper with a down button or a down arrow. It's because that file is available for download from the cloud because I have my library synced, and this version of Mendeley auto syncs. So anytime you're working it, it should auto sync for you and upload those files so that if you're working from somewhere else, you can easily download them. So say that I want to look at this PDF that I've worked on with my colleague. I can open it and I can see, I can zoom in as well. I can see there are a couple different highlights. So when you're looking, and this is really what I use Mendeley for, you can have it on the selector, just normal cursor, and you can highlight stuff. It's kind of weird depending on which, I kind of have to be careful not to over highlight. So you highlight it and then you can select a color, red, and if I was, yes, and then you can click that little highlight button that pops up, or if you're up here, you can specifically click on the highlighter and then anything you highlight will be highlighted. As you can see though, again, be careful with how much you're highlighting. It depends on how well the text is recognized by Mendeley within the PDF, how finicky the highlighting will be. The last thing that I'll mention about this, because I don't want to go too far in depth so that we have questions and we can go over Zotero with plenty of time as well, is the sticky note. I use this a lot for myself if I know what I want to cite. So say I really like this graph. I don't know what it's about, but say I really liked it. I can click and add use this in paper, exclamation mark. because I like to use exclamation marks. And you can see that it's colored whatever color you have on this drop down. So say you want certain color ones for I'm for sure going to use this, and certain colored ones for your partner really wants to use, or you want to use in a different paper, because there's been sometimes I'm researching things that are a little bit overlapping, but I don't want to confuse my highlighting and my post-it notes, so I switch to a different color. I can write this is the other paper, or whatever note I want to have. The coolest thing about these notes that I'm taking is that if I click over on this info that's on this dark gray, blackish kind of box on the far right, you'll see info. If you click on it, that's where you'll see all the metadata. And but what I like is the annotations portion. So I can see a list of all of the sticky notes I've made, as well as general notes I've made about the article. So this is where you can write like a summary of the article in your own words if you really wanted to. But again, the sticky notes, really cool, is that you can click on it and it'll jump you to that sticky note and open that sticky note for you. So my coworker, Mike, he made this and I want to know what it said, or I want to see the context of it. I can click on it. It jumps me down here to where he made this comment, and it tells me what the comment was and when it was made. So this was made September 5th of 2019. So that's kind of a really brief rundown of annotating things within Mendeley. The final thing we'll talk about before we move on to exporting to Word and that sort of thing is just kind of the general basics, which I probably should have said first, but again, I get excited about things, then I forget. So you'll see the author's name, the year, the title, the source, when you added it, whether or not it has a file, and when you click on it, and if you're under info, you can see all this specific stuff. As you'll notice, this journal article is titled No Title, No Title, and it has some characters from a language that I do not understand. The thing about when you're importing stuff to Mendeley is that the metadata here will only be as good as it can pull from the PDF. So a lot of, or that you pulled if you're exporting a citation. So a lot of my citations, I'm just dragging in a PDF. So you can add them, you can add it from your computer, select whatever. You can click and drag into Mendeley. Does the paid version of EndNote have the annotation feature of Mendeley? I do not believe so. I believe that EndNote just reads PDFs from whatever PDF reader you have installed. But Emma can follow up with that. So you can add them manually. You can import it from something that you've exported from somewhere else. But again, it's only going to be as good as what you're giving it. So here you can change it. So I could click to read this PDF, and then I can say, okay, now I know what the title is, and change that. For me, because I don't cite directly into Word with this, that's not that big of a deal. But if, as I'm going to show you an example of what it looks like when I pull in some of these less than stellar citations into Word. Before I skip over to importing into Word, does anybody have any questions so far about this interface, getting stuff in? No?
I actually was just playing with it, and I had some PDFs on my desktop that I was trying to drop in, and it won't, like, it just, the thing just slides off the screen. It won't actually upload it that way. Is there another way to upload them other than just dragging and dropping?
Yes. So if you're in Mendeley and you click the Add New, the Files from Computer will let you select PDFs. So I don't know where I have.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So I have lots of PDFs. You can hit open. It'll show you that it's uploading, how much space it's going to take up, and it'll add it here. And because this was something I wrote, it's trying to pull in, information. So now that we have stuff in our Mendeley library, and we know how to get it in there, and we know how to get it out if we export it all, so we don't have to use Mendeley if we choose to. We're going to go into Word. The important thing when you're opening up Word is that you have to have already installed the Mendeley site before opening Word, or else it won't work. So you have to make sure your Word is closed, you install it, and then you reopen Word. It's going to be under your References tab. So normally Word defaults to Home, click on References. Sometimes for me it takes a second to load, but I think that's because I have two different Mendeley sites in here and that confuses it. So this Mendeley Site-O-Matic, you'll see at the top, that is the old version. I have yet to uninstall it because I honestly don't really know how, but over on the right, you'll see Mendeley site. So the first thing you'll notice is that it automatically shows you a list of all of your references, and also has a search bar for you to search for references. The biggest thing that I like to make sure is that I select my citation style. The cool thing about how citation managers import citations, or at least Mendeley, is that if you do a paper and you submit it in one style, you can go back and change it. Say, I submitted this to one journal in APA 7, but it actually needs to be in Chicago. You can change that and it'll update your citation style and update all the citations that you've imported if you've imported through the reference manager. So going back to the references, I'm going to select just these first 4. And you can see they're right here. You can tell there are already various levels of quality. I'm going to insert those citations, and you can see that it tried to do the best it can. So, it has an author, date, tried for an author, date, author, date. And the raise one, if you look down, if you hover over, you can see that there's 3 or 4 people listed in the full citation, but it automatically changes it to et al. Whenever it's input here. Whenever you're importing a citation like this, it will always default to wherever your cursor is. So say you just finished a sentence and you want to insert your citation there. So say you already put your period, you have to make sure to go back in before the period, insert what you want, and then it'll format it like that. The final thing to know is that say you've inserted all these things, you're done with your paper, and now you're ready for your bibliography. If you hit more, there's a little drop down, you put insert bibliography, and oh, okay. I was like, why didn't it insert? Because it's really telling you, like, make sure that you're inserting this where you want it to go. So you have to click continue, and then it'll insert your bibliography in whatever format that you told it to. That's pretty much a really rough rundown of Mendeley and getting stuff into it, using it, and getting stuff out of it. If we want to go back over to the slides, Brad, does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry if that was a little, over the place. It's new-ish, so it's constantly changing. When I first did this, a couple semesters ago, it was one way, and then when I, pretty much every time I'm doing this presentation, it's changed a little bit, but hopefully the changes will kind of settle out and calm down soon. So I personally really like Mendeley. It's not for everyone, especially if you really like web importers. Its web importer is not good very well in comparison to Zotero especially. But I think it's fun to try. We do have some videos and other slides about Mendeley. They are probably outdated. I need to go through and redo all of them in relation to the new layout and the new features. But you can always schedule a consultation either with me or with Mike, my coworker. Our information's on the screen. And consultation really means like, shoot me an email. Like if you have one question, just send me an email. I'll figure out the answer and I'll reply back. Or if you really want kind of something like this, where it's just a one-on-one Zoom, Emma, Brad, and I are all more than welcome to kind of give that individual one-on-one meeting however fits your needs. Now I think we're going to go on to Brad and talk about Zotero, which is kind of a fan favorite for a lot of people. So.
Okay, thanks, Logan. So I'm going to talk to you about Zotero. My name's Brad. Zotero is very similar in many respects to the other two citation management tools we've talked about today. I mean, it's basically a place where you can store and organize citations. It's got somewhat similar layout. It works with Safari, Chrome, Firefox, and most word processors. It also is open source. That means you don't need university credentials to maintain an account. You can use it when you leave Mizzou. And that used to be something I said was different, but I guess the free versions of Mendeley is also something you can maintain. So let's see. I'm just going to go over the layout a little bit in this slide, and then I'm going to do a demonstration of the actual software. So in terms of layout, the left-hand column, it contains the basic directory for all of your archived materials. To see everything you saved, you would click on this My Library folder at the top, and that's going to open all the subfolders. To create a new subfolder, you just right-click on any of these folders, and you can keep creating subfolders as much as you like. The middle column displays all the material you've imported into Zotero, and the right column displays all the detailed information for each item in that collection. So to see details about any of these articles or books, you would just click on it, and it's going to open it up in this right-hand column. All right, so that's the overview. I'm going to pull out of this slideshow. And first, I'm going to show, this is what Zotero looks. Can everybody see my screen fine? Okay. That's what Zotero is going to look like when you first open it with nothing in it. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. First, I'm just going to point you to Zotero.org. That's where you can find this software. It downloads very quickly. You just hit the button in the middle of the screen. And I've already got it installed on my system, so I'm not going to download it now. But I wanted to bring your attention to these Zotero connectors. If you click on this link here, it's going to show you all the ones that are available. And I would recommend downloading any browsers you use. I would recommend getting this connector because Logan mentioned it. The web importer is one of the strongest features of Zotero. It works very well, and it's a very handy tool, and we'll demonstrate that in just a moment. So first thing I'm going to show you is just the most straightforward way to get a citation into Zotero. So I've got a PDF already set up over here on my desktop. I'm just going to drag it into the middle. And so that's going to bring in the whole PDF and then all this citation information. Let me make this a little bigger. And it's pretty good. Sometimes there's some errors, and all of these can be manually corrected if you like. The item type has a drop-down menu that you can select if for some reason they got that wrong. But like I said, usually it's pretty good. And then, yes, it brings in the full PDF. So the only caveat to that is these PDFs, I don't have an exact number for you, but I've been told that too many of them can sort of crash the system. So you want to try to get rid of the PDFs, or at least not house them in Zotero if you start accumulating a lot of citations. So one workaround for this is to click this paperclip icon. Let me highlight this citation right here. And then I'm going to click the PDF. Then I'm going to, you click attach link to file. And then it's going to open it up. Let's see, you go to my desktop, and here I'm going to find the PDF. Click that. It's going to create a duplicate right there. So the one with the paperclip icon, that's not actually housed in Zotero. It's just a link back to my desktop or wherever you have the file on your computer. So that frees up a lot of space, and then I can go ahead and delete this one. So that's just something to keep in mind. So the next strategy for getting files into Zotero, let's say you want to get a whole bunch of stuff at once. I've done a search. I'm doing baseball right now. So I'm going to do a search on the university library's homepage using Discover MU. It's going to make me log in. Okay, so Zotero has, once you've got those connectors installed, this is for the Google Chrome connector. You pull this over, I can't see it because the camera's over here, but if you look up here in the right-hand corner, this Manila folder, that's the Zotero icon for this page. It's sort of a shape-shifting icon, and it changes based on what sort of resources are available on that page. I'll briefly show you. Here's a newspaper website, and there's the newspaper icon, but it's always going to be housed right here. But for this page, this is pretty cool. Let's say I want to import a bunch of these citations at once from this search results list. So I can go back up to this icon, click on it. It's going to bring them all up here, and I'll just click on the ones I want, and then I'll hit OK. And then that is importing it to my library. And then let me make sure that it went through. Let's just. And they're all in there. And as you can see, now these aren't going to have, these are all books, but even if they were articles, when you use that method, selecting several sources at once, it's not going to import the PDFs. So you would have to download the PDF separately, manually bring it into Zotero, unfortunately. But it still brings in all the citation information. Here we have the abstract, publisher, lots of different information here. The last thing I'm going to show you is just you can use Zotero with all different kinds of websites. Here's the New York Times. I'm sticking with the theme of baseball. Say I want to import this article. Let me open it real quick. I can just go over to my, now it looks kind of like a piece of paper. I'm going to click it. And it's going to directly import that over into Zotero. And that should work for most websites. I'm not sure whether commercial websites or how that would work, but like anything with an article or some sort of source, it's going to usually translate into that. And so here I have it, and it's got it saved as a web page. So again, if I wanted to save it as a newspaper article, just go down to my drop-down menu, and I've changed it. And I can edit all of this information if I want as well. So let's see. The last thing I want to show you is just creating a bibliography using Word.
We had a question, Brad, if you wanted to answer that.
I did not see that. I can't see the chat.
That's okay. I can read it to you.
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
Can I open the PDF directly from Zotero if I just attach the link?
No, there's no PDF reader associated with Zotero. So even if either way, if you have a linked file or if you have the original PDF, it's going to require an external PDF reader like Adobe or Preview on a Mac or something like that. And there's not really any annotation features either, unfortunately. So that's the weak part of Zotero. I hope that answers the question.
Quick question.
Yes.
I unfortunately have double book, but I'm very interested in that workshop. Is it possible that someone can have that access to that video later?
Yes, we're going to post a copy of this video. I think, Logan, did you put a link in the chat?
There's also slides, is what Logan put the link to in this. Yeah.
So I put a link in the chat to previous information about this, but there is a video recording of this, and it should be available to you after this, shortly after this is completed.
Okay. So will they send it to my email or something?
I believe so. If not, then I'll make sure that you get a copy of it. So
Okay, I put my email because I have rehearsals at the same time, so I feel like I'm gonna miss out so
Yeah.
bad. I put my email in the chat.
I grabbed it. I'll make sure that you get a copy of it so that you can finish watching it.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. So the last thing I want to show you for Zotero is just creating a bibliography, and it's pretty straightforward. You just highlight whatever items you want to include in your bibliography. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go down to create bibliography from items. I'm going to make sure that it's copy to clipboard down here in the output method. And then you can choose any citation style you want that's included in this menu. I'm going to stick with APA right now. And then I'll just go over to Word and I will paste it. And it should be fully formatted. I have seen errors on this at times, and sometimes there's some buggy code issues that can happen, but most of the time it works pretty well. And the citations are usually pretty in line. But sometimes I've seen some weird stuff happen with this feature. So just be aware of that, I suppose. But that's really all I have to show you for Zotero. I guess at this point, I would open it up for questions about Zotero or anything you've heard during this presentation. I'm going to pull the slides back up and give you my contact information as well. So if you do have more detailed questions or find that you run into problems when you're using Zotero, you can always contact me or Rachel Breckus. She knows even more than I do, much more than I do, I should say. And we're available with these email addresses here. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
If you want to go ahead and switch it to the final slide, Brad, as well, just as just a summary. Thank you. If you do need to go, I know we kind of are running really close to time. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Here is again the information, the link if you want to see it again for the e-slides, as well as links to the other guides. And there's just some general contact information. So for each of these citation managers, there are us, obviously, who are giving this presentation, as well as an additional librarian who can help you with whatever, whether it's just a simple question or you really want some in-depth one-on-one time to walk through specific situations. We're here for whatever you need. So if you do have any questions and you can't think of them now, or you don't have them right this moment, that's okay to just send us an email later. Or if you do have questions now, go ahead and either type in chat or you can unmute yourself and we'll be happy to help.